Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Fantasy. My skills can be upgraded infinitely. Chapter 21. How can it be? He is only in the physical state. The pursuer turned out to be Zhang Heng, a warrior in the physical realm. Qi Peng was dumbfounded. In his view for many years, the gap in strength between each realm is like a chasm. So, even if he became recognized as the number one in the outer sect, he never thought of fighting against a Gen Qi realm warrior. There is no comparison between the two. But now, the scene in front of him made him start to doubt. Could it be that the true Qi realm is actually not that strong? Or that the strength of the Sanren true Qi realm is much lower? Zhang Heng can chase him, can't I? Qi Peng was suddenly eager to give it a try. He has never been willing to be inferior to others. Among his peers, he never believed that anyone was better than him. Let alone a backward person like Zhang Heng. If Zhang Heng chases the enemy, but he escapes, how will others think? He looked at his younger brother. Sure enough, I saw him looking at me blankly, waiting for his decision. You hide aside first, and I'll stop that person. After saying that, he moved his feet and turned into an elegant breeze, facing the two people who were chasing him. Good. Very good. Su Li, who was running rapidly, couldn't help but feel furious when he saw another outer disciple of Daluo sect taking the initiative to intercept him. These sect disciples all treat me like a weakling. Everyone in the physical realm dares to look down on me, a strong person in the Qi realm. I want to see if all the disciples have the same perverted strength as that kid. His heart was full of frustration, even humiliation. He held the long knife tightly and looked at the ugly young man coming towards him with a sinister expression. All the anger, frustration, and unwillingness in my heart are turned into strength. Cut across with a long sword. Qi Peng, who was coming towards him, struck down with his sword. Swords clash. Chang. Qi Peng's expression changed. I just felt immense power coming from the long sword. His hands couldn't help but soften, and the sword in his hand suddenly flew away. In the void, the white sword light continued to slash towards his abdomen. Before the knife came, the sharp wind of the knife had already caused a dull pain in his abdomen. The only thing to be thankful for is, from the beginning, Qi Peng had some energy left for dodge, and was prepared in case he was defeated. He hurriedly turned around, trying to avoid the blow. However, this knife is too fast. Tisk. The long knife cut through the skin of the abdomen, the blade penetrated deep into the abdomen, and then passed through it. A large amount of blood spurted out. Gen Qi is instantly eroded into the body. Qi Peng fell down weakly. Su Li had no time to care about his life or death. After one stab, he continued to rush forward without stopping. This small moment of delay brought Zhang Heng one step closer. Zhang Heng's figure was like a violent hurricane, sweeping past. In Qi Peng's vision at this time, time seemed to be stretched. He could clearly see that the face of the mysterious and powerful true Qi realm expert was full of anger. And a hint of anxiety. What is he anxious about? Are you afraid of being caught up by Zhang Heng? This thought flashed through Qi Peng's mind subconsciously, and he saw the other party leaving his sight. The next moment, Zhang Heng, who was full of fighting spirit, completely ignored his presence and flashed past him. It turns out that in their eyes, I am just an ant blocking the way, so worthless. A bitter smile appeared on Qi Peng's face. He fell to the ground and lost consciousness. His follower hurried over and checked his breathing, and then he breathed a sigh of relief. After a while, a deacon in blue leapt from the tree in the distance and landed lightly next to Qi Peng and the other two. After a brief inspection of the injury, he found traces of residual Qi erosion at the wound, and his face became solemn. It is indeed an intruder from the true Qi realm. After feeding Qi Peng a pill, he said, "Take him aside to rest, and wait until I hunt down the intruder before I can provide further treatment." The deacon jumped out again and chased in the direction of the intruder. At the same time, he took out a signal bomb and released it decisively. Whoops. Accompanied by a sharp chirping sound, a small but bright ball of light shot diagonally into the air ahead. Far away, several other deacons in blue turned their eyes and looked at the trajectory of the signal flares in the air. There's an unexpected incident. Several deacons moved at the same time and moved quickly in the direction guided by the signal flare. Ellipsis. Not far away from Zhang Heng and the others, there was a figure following quietly. It is Lei Song, elder son's subordinate and Su Li's employee. At this moment, his face was gloomy. Trash. Looking at Zhang Heng with a fighting spirit on his face, murderous intent arose in his heart. With the strength of the physical body, he can actually resist the 8th level of the true Qi realm head-on. This child must not be kept. He is the 3rd level of martial arts, the innate level of strength. At present, in the entire trial venue, even the strongest deacon, Su Qing, can confront him head-on. And when Su Qing didn't take action, he was even more confident of sweeping the entire field. But, no, you can't take action in this situation. As elder son's confidant, Lei Song knew it very well. The potential threat of killing Zhang Heng, although very important, is undoubtedly insignificant compared with the suzerain election a year later. He knew Zhang Heng's identity, and even more clearly how deep the conflict between elder son and Zhang Heng's parents was. Once Zhang Heng showed signs of being intentionally killed. Whether it was elder son's fault or not, and whether there is evidence or not, it will definitely be used as an excuse for criticism by those who are interested, thus affecting the general election. Lei Song restrained his murderous intent and quietly stepped away. His eyes stayed for a while on Zhang Heng's back, which was getting farther and farther away. Suddenly, Lei Song had a strong premonition in his heart. If he didn't kill Zhang Heng today, he would never have any chance in the future. He hesitated for a moment. The intuition of a strong person is often not groundless. But the next moment, he secretly shook his head in self-mockery. How is that possible? He is only in the physical state. I'm too nervous. So what if he can defeat the true Qi realm? Facing the innate realm, he still has no power to fight back, not to mention the stronger spiritual Sea realm. Lei Song continued to retreat and gradually disappeared into the forest. Ellipsis. Roll. Su Li shouted loudly. He looked gloomily and looked at the oncoming Deluo sect deacon. In addition to Zhang Heng who was chasing after him, deacons from other directions gradually surrounded him, almost forming a siege. If you want to survive, you can only break through the encirclement and overcome the obstacles of those in front. Die. Su Li mobilized a large amount of true energy and gathered it on the long knife in his hand. It's a pity that his weapons are just mortal weapons after all. They can only hold a limited amount of qi, and the increase in their lethality is also limited. Besides, Junqi wraps the arms, increasing explosive power. Infuriating energy envelopes the chest, increasing defense and exchanging injuries with the opponent. He must rush over immediately. Otherwise, once there is a stagnation, you will immediately be completely surrounded by deacons coming from other directions. Even about to face the terrifying young man behind him. Charge through and live. If you can't get through, you'll die. Chapter 22. Fierce, cruel. Those who offend our Deluo sect shall die. The young deacon wearing a blue Deluo sect uniform and holding a big sword looked at Su Li who was coming towards him with a solemn expression. He naturally knows that the other party is currently in a trapped beast situation. So, this blow must be a desperate blow. He mobilized all his energy and grasped the hilt of the sword with both hands. Hand-opening swordsmanship. His sword is broad and heavy. With one strike, it seems to split a mountain directly. The power is extremely fierce. Chang. The knives and swords suddenly collided together, and invisible shock waves raged crazily in all directions. The dust is flying and the weeds are moving. This moment of confrontation was almost evenly matched. But Su Li's heart sank. Because, all the people behind him have caught up with him and surrounded him. Just when several deacons were preparing to take action together to eliminate the intruder, Zhang Heng said, "Brothers, how about leaving this person to me?" A few people looked at each other, and one of them said in a deep voice, "Junior brother, do you know that this person is a true energy warrior?" Zhang Heng grinned. "Of course I know. During the fight with him, he ran away, which alerted everyone. So, please give me a few brothers to help me raid the formation, and I will kill him myself." Hearing this, several deacons were shocked. A warrior in the physical realm chases a warrior in the true energy realm. They had never heard of such a thing. But the previous scene does seem to be consistent with this statement. Only, seeing their hesitation, Zhang Heng didn't waste any time, rushed forward and punched out. Su Li, who was in trouble, glanced at the deacons around him with a heavy expression on his face, and then looked at Zhang Heng, who was rushing towards him. "Even if I die, I will support you." A mere ant in the physical realm actually pushed me to this point, it. Facing Zhang Heng's fist, he slashed down with the long knife. Wait. The expressions of several deacons changed drastically, and when they were about to step forward to stop him, they saw a shocking scene. Zhang Heng's punch was in direct confrontation with the long sword of the Genqi realm warrior, but it was not damaged at all and was not at a disadvantage at all. Touch, touch, punch after punch, knife after knife. The two of them were like wild beasts that had lost their senses, attacking each other like crazy. The violent air waves swept wildly around. Several deacons were dumbfounded. One of them couldn't help but ask, "Is this a fake true energy warrior?" The deacon who had just had a head-on confrontation with Su Li looked horrified. No, his cultivation level is at least the 6th level of True Qi realm. As soon as these words came out, everyone was shocked and completely stunned. In the physical realm, he competed head-on with the 6th level of the true energy realm, and he did not fall behind at all. If they hadn't seen this kind of thing with their own eyes, they wouldn't believe it anyway. Ha ha ha. Happy. At this time, Zhang Heng laughed wildly and let the other party slash him in the chest. He grasped the blade with both hands, and while pulling it back, he rushed forward. A headbutt to the opponent's forehead. Boom. A violent banging sound like ringing a bell spread throughout the countryside. Su Li was confused for a moment. In this moment, Zhang Heng hit him with one headbutt after another. Use all your strength with every blow until the opponent's face is bruised and bloody. Su Li's figure fell to the ground weakly. Zhang Heng casually flicked the long knife in his hand, squatted down, and continued to punch Su Li's deformed head into the ground like a pile driver. Ding. Victory in the leapfrog battle and get 10,000 potential points. Who won? Zhang Heng stood up and breathed a sigh of relief. His face was covered in blood, but he had a sunny smile. Several deacons watched silently, a chill rising subconsciously in their hearts. This young man is definitely not a kind person. Senior brothers, thank you very much. Zhang Heng casually wiped the blood on his face and thanked several people. Several deacons responded politely. This young man is not only a genius, his strength is not inferior to any of them at all, and he deserves their respect. By the way, junior brother, what's going on with this intruder? Why did he fight against you? One of the deacons asked curiously. Zhang Heng smiled casually. He killed a junior fellow student from the outer sect, and I happened to see him. He probably wanted to kill me to silence him. As for how he entered the trial area, I don't know. It seems that when it was time to clean up, the other party happened to be cultivating here, so it was missed. Another deacon said thoughtfully. Thanks to you, junior brother, otherwise, I don't know how many people this intruder would have secretly killed. By the way, what do you call me, junior brother? Let me see if I can apply for a contribution reward for you. My name is Zhang Heng. Ellipsis. Far away. At different locations, there were dozens of outer disciples looking at what was happening here, with shock on their faces. The appearance of the signal bomb and the loud noise of Zhang Heng and the two men chasing and escaping had already attracted the attention of countless people. But most people will not take the initiative to participate in such an event. Because everyone knows that the appearance of the signal flare represents the deacon's request for help. This shows that it is a special situation that even warriors in the True Qi realm have difficulty facing. It is only right for them in the physical realm to stay away from it. But there are always some brave people who watch from a distance just to watch the fun. And when I looked at it, I saw a shocking scene. One of the favorites for the championship in the competition, Zhang Heng, actually killed a Genqi warrior head-on. Even the deacons who were in the True Qi realm are treated politely. At this time, Bu Hanyi, who had been following him in the distance, finally rushed over and saw Zhang Heng with his face covered in blood. Senior brother Zhang, what happened? Nothing. A pest entered the trial field and I killed it. You're not hurt, are you? Of course not. After Zhang Heng said goodbye to several deacons, he turned around and walked back. Bu Hanyi looked at the corpse on the ground, then turned and left. Chapter 23. The champion is destined to be that person. For the rest of the time, Zhang Heng and Bu Hanyi still practice actual combat every day. It was 2 days later again. That is the 5th day of the trial. By the river, two figures moved around like ghosts that appeared and disappeared. Occasionally, a muffled sound came from between the two of them. Most of the time, it's a silent attack and dodging, like well-rehearsed coordinated movements. After a long time, one of the figures suddenly flew out to the side. I lost. Bu Hanyi stood firm and said with a normal expression. I have said this no less than 100 times, and it is not as difficult to say as it was at first. Ding. Victory in the leapfrog battle and get 5,000 potential points. Zhang Heng nodded with satisfaction, and then looked at the rising sun in the distance. The weather is nice today, and the official hunting is about to begin. Bu Hanyi on the side rolled his eyes. I said, some people have already finished their trials, but you are just starting now, and you really don't panic at all. Aren't you not panicking either? Zhang Heng said indifferently. Bu Hanyi smiled at this time. Don't you know, Junshi realm warriors are not allowed to participate in sect competitions held by outer disciples. Zhang Heng was startled. You mean, even those who break through during the trial are not allowed? Of course not. Then what are you still doing here? I'm here to practice with you. Having an evenly matched partner is very helpful for practice. Zhang Heng nodded in agreement. That's true. By the way, what do you mean when you said that some people have finished the trial? With such a good opportunity to hunt ferocious beasts, could anyone return early? Bu Hanyi continued to smile. Many junior fellow apprentices who are not very strong just give up when the time comes and return as soon as the time is up. Otherwise, if you encounter a strong person like you who snatches trophies, you will probably get nothing in the end. In other words, many people have returned now, and only a few people who are sure to compete for ranking will continue to hunt. Zhang Heng nodded indifferently. It doesn't matter, as long as there are still people, I can just grab a few people and that's enough. Bu Hanyi shook his head and looked at him playfully. It's not that easy. Do you think everyone will wait for you to grab it? The last 2 days are the most critical time. No one wants to waste all their efforts, so most people are careful to take precautions and avoid people when they see them approaching. In addition, there are fewer and fewer people now, and the venue is so wide, it will not be easy to grab enough loot. Zhang Heng's expression froze. Why didn't you remind me earlier? Bu Hanyi pretended to be nonchalant and said, isn't it because I have been busy sparring with you these days? Zhang Heng glared at her, knowing that she obviously did it on purpose. Bu Hanyi pretended not to see it and sighed exaggeratedly. Ouch. That's bad. It would be a pity if you were eliminated in the first round because you didn't have enough loot. Obviously capable of winning the championship. Bu Hanyi shook his head regretfully. Seeing her artificial gesture, Zhang Heng couldn't help but twitch the corner of his mouth. It's too late for me to start hunting now. How about you help me get the trophies? What is the benefit? Bu Hanyi asked rhetorically. Zhang Heng pondered for a moment and said tentatively. Next time we have a sparring session, shall I let you win once? Bu Hanyi's face suddenly darkened and he glared at Zhang Heng viciously. Unnecessary. As a genius, it would be a shame for her to have to give in to the opponent again and again during a duel. Then, give you a chi and blood pill. Good. With Bu Hanyi's family background, he could get as many chi and blood pills as he wanted, so naturally he didn't really care about it and just regarded it as a small bargaining chip. After the conditions were agreed upon, Zhang Heng began to hunt like crazy. He rushed into the forest with his head buried all the way, his body like a heavy bulldozer, running over mountains and trees, without stopping at all. Huge trees fell down one after another, and the roaring sound was endless. After a while, a large ferocious beast that looked like a black panther appeared not far away. Zhang Heng turned around and charged forward fiercely. The biggest difference between humans and beasts is wisdom. This ferocious beast was not aware of Zhang Heng's fear at all, and instead rushed towards Zhang Heng. Boom! Hit the ferocious beast's steel-like head with a punch, and a thunderous sound suddenly exploded. The skull of a ferocious beast is the hardest part of the body, and it is almost impossible for ordinary warriors to destroy it. However, Zhang Heng's fist was harder. After punching, his fist seemed not to feel the shock force. Instead, the beast fell into confusion for a moment. So he punched the beast's head one punch after another. After several battles, Zhang Heng discovered that he liked this fist-to-flesh fighting style so much. Especially now, relying on his invincible physique, ignoring all attacks, just smashing and smashing like crazy. In just a moment, the beast died tragically on the spot. Zhang Heng immediately turned around and ran in the other direction. Bu Hanyi behind him helped him pack up the loot and put it into a half-sized package. This guy looks delicate, but he is so wild when fighting. Bu Hanyi sighed for a while, then got up and chased in the direction of Zhang Heng. This day, many outer disciples who were still in the trial area kept hearing loud noises of heavy objects falling to the ground coming from different directions. Like a dense drum sound, it reaches everyone's ears, giving people an inexplicable sense of urgency. The ferocious beasts in the area were even more miserable. In front of Zhang Heng, who was charging all the way, they were almost killed immediately upon meeting. Some of the disciples who were unfortunate enough to encounter Zhang Heng were punched to the ground and all the trophies were taken away from them. The seventh day of the trial. An open space in a mountain range. Thousands of people gathered together in a dense crowd. At the same time, many people gradually walked out of the forest and came to a certain location in the crowd. With the help of many handymen, they began to count the loot and record points. Zan Siwan, points 19. Ji Fenghua, points 21. Niu Mengjia, points 33. Ellipsis. Many people gathered together in small groups to share various things that happened during the trial, and even more people began to discuss the rankings of the trial. Originally, Qi Peng was definitely going to be the first place, but unfortunately, he encountered an intruder from the True Qi realm and returned early, with only 43 points. Even if he returns on the third day, he is still ranked 27th, which is simply too strong. But in this case, the first place should be Bu Hanyi. It just so happens that she has not returned yet, and she must be continuing to hunt for the first place. At this time, a person not far away laughed. It seems that many people don't know about that. Actually, there is no suspense about the first place, including the second round of the ring competition. The champion is destined to be that person. Seeing him look so determined, someone asked curiously. Who? Zhang Heng. Chapter 24. Zhang Heng is the invincible being in the outer sect. Zhang Heng. Is he the master of the dual ring? Although he is also one of the favorites to win the championship, his strength is obviously weaker than the others, especially Qi Peng and Bu Hanyi. Why do you say the championship is destined to be his? The man chuckled and asked. Since you all know that Qi Peng is injured, do you know why he is injured? Everyone immediately started talking about it. Of course, the deacon has said that it was an intruder with true energy who appeared and fought Qi Peng hard before seriously injuring him. This does not mean that Qi Peng is weak in strength. On the contrary, the fact that he can confront the true Qi realm head-on with one move fully illustrates his strong strength. He is still the number one person in the outer sect. The man was noncommittal and smiled mysteriously. Then do you know how the intruder died? Hearing this, everyone immediately looked at each other, and someone hesitated and said. The deacon didn't say anything. However, wasn't it the deacon who killed him? It couldn't have been Deacon Su himself, right? The man shook his head calmly and was about to speak. Someone from the other direction spoke first. It was Zhang Heng who beat him to death. Zhang Heng and the intruder from the True Qi realm faced each other head-on. Punch after punch, they beat the opponent to pieces and hammered him into the ground. The man suddenly looked in the direction of the speaker with some dissatisfaction, but was greeted with a hearty smile in return. Others had no intention of paying attention to the expressions of the two people, and all exclaimed. How can it be? No matter how strong Zhang Heng is, can he be stronger than a warrior in the True Qi realm? Even Qi Peng could barely withstand one attack from the intruder. Can Zhang Heng kill him head-on? Stop joking. If this is really the case, how big is the strength gap between Zhang Heng and Qi Peng? Most people who have not seen it with their own eyes express disbelief. The man retorted with a red face, as if he was trying to defend his honor. At this time, Zhang Heng is back. Bu Hanyi is back too. Someone exclaimed. These two people are both favorites to win the championship. This time they appeared together, which immediately caused everyone to turn their heads and look. I saw two people coming side by side. Bu Han wore a long sword at his waist, looking as heroic as ever. Zhang Heng held a black cloth parcel in one hand, his steps were steady and his expression was calm. He came to the handyman who was responsible for counting, unwrapped the package, and shook his hand casually. Crash. A large number of ***** ears fell to the ground. With everyone's attention, the two handymen began to count. 1, 2, 3, 103. Damn, it's over 100. The current highest score is only 86 points from Lan Gaojuo. This time it exceeds nearly 20 points. Yi Qi Ju Chen. How terrifying. With this score, it's no surprise that Zhang Heng is the winner of the first round. However, Bu Hanyi didn't bring a package. Doesn't she have any trophies? She came back with Zhang Heng. Could it be that she was robbed by Zhang Heng just now? While everyone was talking, the two handymen counted the quantity again. After confirming that there were no problems, they recorded it. Bu Hanyi came to the deacon Su Cheng. Master Deacon, I have reached the realm of true energy. Su Cheng raised his eyebrows and said in surprise. Have you made a breakthrough in the trial? Considering your age, you are indeed the sect's top genius. But as usual, you'd better demonstrate it first. Bu Hanyi's expression froze slightly. In the past, she felt that the evaluation of top genius was barely worthy of her. But now, this kind of evaluation sounded a bit harsh to her ears. However, she did not show any abnormality. Instead, she summoned her true energy and displayed her martial arts realm generously. Not far away, many people were paying attention to Bu Hanyi, and they couldn't help but be shocked when they saw the dense energy covering her body. Among all the official outer disciples, Bu Hanyi is considered to be the youngest, and his cultivation and martial arts are among the top. Since last year, many people have called him the #1 genius in the outer sect. It was only because he was too young that he failed in the competition and only got the 29th place. This year, 17-year-old Bu Hanyi is already one of the favorites to win the championship. Such talent is already amazing enough. But now, he has made another breakthrough and directly achieved the true Qi realm. It's so amazing. I am already considered a genius among ordinary people, but I feel that there is no hope of breaking through to the true Qi realm in this life, and Bu Hanyi actually broke through at the age of 17. He is indeed the #1 genius in the outer sect. All the outer disciples are no longer qualified to compare with her. Bu Hanyi is already a level above her. Soon, she will shine in the inner disciples. I dare to say that even if he enters the inner gate, Bu Hanyi will definitely be among the top geniuses. Ellipsis. Bu Hanyi naturally heard everyone's exclamations. But these compliments and flattery made her blush a little and subconsciously looked in Zhang Heng's direction. Others don't know it clearly, but she knows in her heart that she is far from being the first genius. That one is the peerless genius who is truly above all others and beyond the scope of ordinary people's understanding. At this time, Zhang Heng and the other two helpers counted the loot again, registered the points, and walked towards Bu Hanyi's direction. A deacon immediately walked to Su Cheng and said softly, Deacon Su, that is Zhang Heng. Oh, hearing this, Su Cheng turned his eyes in the direction of Zhang Heng. Previously, when several deacons reported to him, he still found it unbelievable. Even with his decades of experience, he had never heard of such a thing happening before. A warrior in the physical realm could kill a warrior above the 6th level of the true energy realm head-on. If it weren't for the fact that several deacons had not sworn at the same time, he would even suspect that the person reporting the matter was lying. But now, looking at Zhang Heng walking slowly, Su Cheng was even more shocked. You are really so young. This is the real genius. He put away his messy thoughts, calmed himself down, and shouted with a smile. Young man, are you Zhang Heng? Zhang Heng turned his eyes and looked at Su Cheng with an indifferent expression. That's right. A deacon reported to me before that you killed the intruder alone, right? Right. After you return to the clan, I will report your achievements and strive for a reward for your contribution. Speaking of this, Su Cheng nodded approvingly at Zhang Heng. If you can kill the Qi realm head-on with the physical body, you can definitely be called the genius of the world. Zhang Heng still smiled and said, neither humble nor arrogant. Thank you very much, Deacon Su, for the compliment. The two people did not deliberately lower their voices when they spoke. Everyone present is a powerful warrior with keen senses. In addition, Zhang Heng and Su Cheng are the focus of the scene. For a time, most people noticed what the two people said and fell into shock. What? Zhang Heng really killed a strong man in the true Qi realm head-on. Even the deacon smiled warmly and treated me with courtesy. Is this the treatment of a genius? Invincible. Zhang Heng is the invincible being in the outer sect. Chapter 25. Within half a year, I will hear about his death. A certain corner. A young man with a long knife on his back and his eyes closed to rest, suddenly opened his eyes and looked in the direction of Zhang Heng. How is it possible? He can kill the Qi realm intruder. The young man's eyes were shining, but his face was full of complexity. After so many years of hard training, I have finally reached the 10th level of cultivation, and my sword skills have finally reached perfection. I thought I would be a blockbuster, but unexpectedly, another terrifying genius was born. Genius, genius. Why is this world so unfair? No matter how hard ordinary people try, they can't compare to the endless stream of young geniuses. The young man looked unwilling, and then sighed. That's it. That's it. It seems that I, Lan Gaojuo, am destined to miss the championship, so let nature take its course. The other side. A girl holding a long sword also had a shocked face. Those who can be listed as the favorites to win the championship all have strength that far exceeds that of ordinary outer disciples. However, in fact, no one, including Qi Peng, is absolutely sure of winning the championship. Because no one knows whether others will make new breakthroughs or have any unknown trump cards. Everything depends on the final performance in the ring. So, all of them have a great chance of winning the final championship. But now, Zhang Heng came out of nowhere. Not only did he go from being unknown to becoming the favorite to win, he even completely wiped out everyone's chance of winning. It seems that the champion is out of luck again. The girl holding the sword, Ji Yu Zhaojun, let out a long sigh. Not long after, everyone returned one after another. Su Qing stood in the middle of the crowd and announced the results of the first round of rankings in a gentle voice. First place, Zhang Heng, 103 points. Second place, Lan Gaojuo, 86 points. Third place, Ji Yu Zhaojun, 82 points. Ellipsis. 50th place, Xing Guo, 38 points. His voice echoed leisurely in everyone's ears. After reading out all the rankings, he led everyone towards the sect. By the time everyone returned to the sect, it was already evening. Tomorrow morning, the top 50 disciples will go to the outer gate square to draw lots and arrange the schedule for the duel. Now, dismiss. Everyone dispersed. Zhang Heng also returned to his small courtyard. After taking a comfortable bath, Zhang Heng opened his personal panel. Host. Zhang Heng. Cultivation level. 10th level of physical realm, 23 100,000ths. Main Kung Fu. Yuanxi Creation Kung Fu, Heaven level, Introduction. Martial arts techniques. Broken Mountain Fist, Zon level perfect. Fast Wind Step, Zon level perfect. Secret Method. Golden Image Skill, Earth level, 3rd level. Potential points. 560,000. Today's potential points have reached an unprecedented 560,000. But adding a little bit made him a little confused. If you increase your level of cultivation and reach the true Qi realm, you will lose a large number of sources of potential points for leapfrogging battles in a short period of time. After all, he is not sure of winning the Shantian realm in a short period of time. As for the golden image skill, it seems that there is no need to upgrade it for the time being. Even if he spends 300,000 potential points to level up, it will not be of much use to him whose defense has already been far exceeded. So, his choice. Either continue to accumulate potential points and upgrade original creation skill. Either upgrade 2 martial arts techniques. Follow the upgrading rules of other exercises. The upgrade of heaven level skills should be 1 million potential points. For him who can obtain a large number of potential points through leapfrogging battles, it does not take too long. But the problem is, according to his conjecture, after the original creation skill is upgraded, it is very likely that it will only increase the efficiency of food absorption, or the efficiency of cultivation. For example, if you digest a qi and blood pill in 1 hour, you will gain 10,000 potential points. After upgrading, this time may be shortened. If he has a lot of resources at this time, then this is definitely an excellent choice. The problem is that the resources he has accumulated so far are only 3 qi and blood pills. Even if the efficiency is increased to 1 second, you can only practice normally for the rest of the time. In fact, the overall improvement is not that big. And the rewards for the sect competition champion are about to be obtained. Although the sect has not officially announced it, it can be seen based on past records. Most of them are 100 chi and blood pills, 1,000 contribution points, and 10 contribution points every day for the next year until promoted to the inner sect. Such resources are considered abundant for Zhang Heng at present, but they are only equivalent to more than half a month's worth of training supplies. After thinking about it, Zhang Heng decided to give up temporarily. As for the other two martial arts that are perfect at the Zan level, even if the potential points are exhausted, they can only be upgraded to the third level of the earth level, which is just the icing on the cake for his current strength. Zhang Heng shook his head secretly, and then returned to the room to sleep. Ellipsis. 4 days ago, in a luxurious and spacious palace. On the high platform in the middle, elder son sat cross-legged. You mean, Su Li, who is at the 8th level of the True Qi realm, was unable to hurt Zhang Heng at all. And he was defeated by Zhang Heng head-on. Elder son's gentle words echoed in the spacious palace. Yes, I saw it with my own eyes. Lai Song bowed and stood under the high platform, speaking in a neither humble nor arrogant tone. This Zhang Heng is really a genius. He is only 16 years old now, right? He has already shown such terrifying potential. He is truly a blessing to the sect. If nothing unexpected happens, I will definitely be able to become a peerless expert in the Linghai realm or even the Wanxiang realm in the future. Elder son couldn't help but sigh, and then said lightly. Then let's create an accident for him. Find a way to lure him out of the sect and let him die outside the sect without leaving any human traces. Within half a year, I must hear the news of his death. Elder son's eyes fell on Lei Song and asked indifferently. Can it be done? The voice fell. Lai Song couldn't help but tremble. A majestic and heavy pressure enveloped his whole body, and the air around him seemed to be completely solidified, making him almost breathless. He knew that when elder son asked this question, it meant that he could only do it, otherwise. Thinking of this, Lei Song immediately bowed his body again and said with fear. Abel. Ellipsis. 3 days ago. The news that an intruder from the True Qi realm appeared during the trial of the outer disciples and was beaten to death by Zhang Hengsheng, who had cultivated in the physical realm, was sent back to the sect and was immediately reported to the sect leader. The 5th peak of Daluozong, in a spacious palace. The leader of Daluo sect, Bai Haokang, sat cross-legged. His whole body was like a peerless divine sword, exuding a powerful and compelling aura. Invisible sword energy disappeared and appeared within 100 meters around him. Tisk. A tiny sword energy appeared out of thin air somewhere on the floor, cutting it open immediately, forming a small but clear sword mark. Looking carefully, it turned out that except for the futon whereby Haokang was sitting, the floor with a radius of 100 meters was already covered with dense sword marks. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.